Yakuza spin-off Like a Dragon Gaiden was originally planned as DLC. Yakuza spin-off Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, was originally planned as a downloadable expansion and only took around 6 months to develop. Speaking to Automaton, Like a Dragon Gaiden writer Masayoshi Yokoyama revealed the idea emerged as just an interlude in full sequel, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Like a Dragon Yakuza 8, before spiraling into its own game. There isn't a huge difference between Like a Dragon Gaiden and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Yokoyama said. By this, I mean that, in a sense, Like a Dragon Gaiden was derived from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. We could have just told of Kuryu's past through a 30-minute interlude as part of Like a Dragon's Infinite Wealth, but we decided it would be a lot more interesting as a game of its own, which is how the project came to be. Though this meant having a whole extra game to make, it still uses the same engine, so we thought it's not like we have to make it from scratch, and decided to go with it. In the end, it took us about half a year to make it. Like a Dragon Gaiden will reveal what former series protagonist Kiryu Kazuma has been up to since the series switched away from him in Yakuza Like a Dragon, Yakuza 7. Kiryu returns as a dual protagonist in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Yakuza 8, so Gaiden will serve as a side story taking place during but away from the events of Yakuza Like a Dragon. If that's not confusing enough, you can read about why developer RGG Studio renamed the series from Yakuza to Like a Dragon, alongside its even more complicated naming conventions for Infinite Wealth. Yokoyama continued, I'm the one who first went, let's make it, I said. If you're going to make an episode about Kuryu's past, it's going to be much quicker to make a game about it. From there on, we first considered making it as DLC, but then decided it was engaging enough for a physical edition. But for a physical edition, we needed more content, so we decided to add some. This is how things escalated. Like a Dragon Gaiden won't actually receive a physical edition in the West, just in Japan. But Yokoyama is essentially referring to its release as a full game here, though it will launch on November 9th at $49.99 instead of the standard $69.99. Trying to do together even further, Like a Dragon Gaiden will also come with a special trial version of the next full release, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, ahead of its launch on January 26th. The spin off won't launch with an English dubbed version, however, meaning players will have to play with Japanese audio and English subtitles. So, what do you think of Yakuza's spin off, Like a Dragon, which does not have anything to do with um, hold on, if this would actually go up, scroll up, so I can, Like a Dragon Gaiden, um, which is not connected to Yakuza Like a Dragon, originally being DLC, but now it's its own game.
Is it a sequel or is this a standalone?
It's a spin-off of a different protagonist in the former Yakuza games.
Oh wow, it's getting complex now because back a month ago we talked about Yakuza Like a Dragon, not Like a Dragon the actual game, but the spin off Ishi something or Ichi
Yeah,
Shin.
yeah.
That will
Let
kind of
me let me try to iron this out a little bit. Like a
yeah
Dragon is the game that I played that I got about 50% through. Um, like a Dragon Gaiden is about a different protagonist. Like a Dragon Guide, The Man Who Erased His Name is either a sequel or a reimagining of the game that I had played. That took I think The Man Who Erased His Name is a sequel, but I could be wrong about that. Um, but The Man
yeah
Who Erased His Name is supposedly a sequel of the game that I have gotten halfway through.
Yeah, after Like a Dragon, that's when it started to become more complex. Like
Yeah,
it were like you gotta wrap up these Yakuza games very quickly because if you start breaking off in different branches, then it's like after especially Yakuza, like if you start with the first six Yakuza games, Yakuza 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that's easy to remember. That's easy obviously to follow through and all, especially if you add like, different like subtitles to it, like Yakuza 6, the final redemption or some shit like that. I can understand that. But now with this Ishi Chin and Like a Dragon, this and now you're just like fucking with this franchise to the point where it's like it's hard to keep track of. Because us older kids can keep track of this stuff, but younger gamers be like, "Nah, I don't care much about the first six Yakuza, first five or six Yakuza games. I want to stay with this Ishichin type of guy." It's kind of like you're dividing the audience, you divide up the follow through the fans of the franchise.
Yeah, I don't
So
know why. I don't know if I mean, the character that you controlled in Like a Dragon. I don't know why they called this Like a Dragon Gaiden if it's a different character.
yeah,
And I really liked Yakuza Like a Dragon what I played. But it
yeah, look
seems like
good.
it seems like they got so many ideas and they wanted to tie it all together, even though this game and the previous game that I had played have different protagonists.
Yep,
Why
that's
is
what they
it
do
the
with
same?
Star Wars.
Why is it sharing the same subname if Like a Dragon, um, if it's a different protagonist?
That's what Disney is doing with Star Wars for the last like 7 years now. Because now it's like they're trying to make it easier and more affordable, more able to understand the story. If it's in opposition to what's going on with the Yakuza game, but it's the same format where it's like, oh, we're gonna branch off different type of sequels and projects and short films, stuff like that, and then you get different fans for different things with Star Wars. Because 30 years ago, 20 years ago, it was linear. It was very like together. Like you knew what's up with the story in a sense after episode 1, 2, and 3. But by the time the end of episode 9, it's like, okay, now you got Ashoka, you got fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi coming into play. People are not gonna we older Star Wars fans are gonna be like, okay, not bad to branch off, but younger people will not go back to time to look at the older shit. So that's what's going on with Yakuza. It's kind of like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think just basically they made it more complicated than it had to be, and even the person who wrote this article admitted it was confusing to keep track of.
Yep. And now you gotta get a divided audience or divided group of fans, and it's like the fans are fighting on each other. It's gonna be like, oh, you're a racist and you're a misogynist, and it's gonna be a whole different generation of fans that don't give a damn about the older Yakuza games. It's gonna be stupid as fuck.
Right.
Because
Uh,
I grew up seeing Yakuza games over time. I always wanted to get them. By the time I turned 20 years old, 22 years old, I was more focused on the Halo franchise the most because of Xbox 360. So I couldn't keep track of Yakuza like that. So more power to me to not be too confused with what's going on now in today's world with the Yakuza.
yeah. So um, yeah. So I mean, this new game, it was originally going to be DLC, but they realized that they could make it a new game. They add enough content to it, and it's also going to be $20 cheaper. It's coming out at $50 instead of 70. So
That's good.
yeah, I guess that's a little perk for the confusion.